Christopher Nolan is le GOAT. Change my mind. Christopher Edward Nolan was born on July 30th, 1970. Growing up, he was greatly influenced by the works of Ridley Scott and science fiction films, such as Star Wars. At the age of 7, he borrowed his dad's camera and started filming short films with his action figures. Despite knowing he wanted to pursue a career in film, he decided to get himself a bachelor's degree in English literature because his dad suggested it would give him a different perspective on things. After graduation, Christopher Nolan started making short films using the limited equipment and resources from the University College of London. His 9-minute short film Larceny was considered to be one of the best short films produced by the UCL, but unfortunately it's also considered lost footage. His first official film was called Following, and despite being shot on a shoestring budget of £3,000, won several awards. Following success also paved the way for his second film, Memento.
What the
Memento was also a massive success, which consequently allowed him to create even bigger films such as The Dark Knight, Interstellar, and Inception, to name a few. But what makes Christopher Nolan so unique? Christopher Nolan oftentimes uses a non-linear narrative structure for a multitude of reasons. Probably the most prominent example would be his film Memento, in which Nolan cuts between scenes of the past with the scenes of the future. The scenes of the past are black and white, but move forward in a chronological order, whereas the colored scenes of the future are shown in a reverse chronological order. In Memento, a man named Leonard is tracking down the man who murdered his wife. The only problem is Leonard has anterograde amnesia, making it very difficult for him to catch the killer. Although he can recall details of life before the murder, he cannot remember what happened 15 minutes ago as he is unable to create short-term memories, so he doesn't know where he's going or why. As such, he uses an elaborate system of tattoos, photos, and notes to remind him of what he's doing or what he needs to do. By utilizing a non-linear narrative structure, the audience is just as confused as Leonard about where they are in the story. We are more lost than the Detroit Pistons.
Oh my god. Oh, hell no, man. What the f?
Christopher Nolan also has a lot of recurring themes throughout his movies, with the most common theme being time. In Inception, the further they go through the layers of the dream, the slower time becomes. Entire lifetimes can pass, yet when they wake up, it would have only been a few hours. In Interstellar, 3 hours on the ocean world is already 23 years on the spaceship. While Coop is off in the deep recesses of space, Murph has already grown into an adult, showing the distance between them emotionally and physically, making the emotional impact of the movie even greater. In Dunkirk, time is used to weave 3 different storylines into one. You have the story of the soldier trying to escape the horrors of Dunkirk. You have the pilot who's bravely defending the airspace in order for the sailors to bring the soldiers home. Tenet is probably Nolan's most creative and confusing use of time. The story plays with the idea of being able to reverse time, but the plot is too complex for many, which is why people didn't really like the movie.
What? Control the player!
Another defining feature of Christopher Nolan films is not a what, but a who. And that person is Hans Zimmer. If you don't know who Hans Zimmer is, he's basically the Messi of composers when it comes to creating soundtracks. But how does Nolan use Hans Zimmer? There's this auditory illusion called shepherd tone, and basically it tricks our brain into thinking the pitch is constantly rising. Think of it like a barber's pole. Hans and Nolan incorporated it into the Dunkirk soundtrack, and I'll let you have a listen. The constant rising sound brings a strong sense of fear and tension, which accurately reflects the hopeless soldiers stranded on the beach of Dunkirk. I'm no music expert, but the soundtracks that Hans Zimmer produces are insane. Here are a few more examples.
Whoa! Get in. Get in, let's go.
What about the flat tire?
Get up, Fran. Go, go, go.
I'm not gonna make it.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Come on, Pace has. Get back here, Doyle. Come on.
Christopher Nolan is also very well known for barely using any CGI in his movies.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
This scene in Oppenheimer, real. This scene in Inception, real. This scene in Dark Knight, real. Why does Nolan hate CGI? Or rather, why does Nolan prefer practical effects over CGI? Let's take a look at the scene from The Dark Knight. Now this scene would be easy enough with CGI, but instead Nolan decides to blow up a real building. The usage of practical effects in this instance really heightens the overall danger factor and calamity that the Joker brings. With CGI, you feel safe knowing it's animated and not real.
I no longer go.
Surprised to see me?
No.
By using practical effects, there's an undeniable element of danger, of realism, that builds tension and keeps the audience at the edge of their seats. I think the most defining quality of Nolan, which makes him such a strong director, is his consistency. When Steven Spielberg drops a movie, it could be good, or it could be an absolute stinker. When Ridley Scott drops a movie,
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be
with Nolan, he's extremely consistent with his films. They may not be your cup of tea, but it's hard to deny that they aren't bad films. When we go to the cinema, we know exactly what to expect from Nolan. To conclude this video, I personally think Nolan is definitely one of the best directors out there at the moment, with his willingness to explore ambitious ideas and going against the mainstream, despite also being considered mainstream due to how popular his films are. You're welcome to disagree with me, and I understand this video makes me a bit of a Nolan fanboy, but this is why I like Christopher Nolan.